Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would start a show that I found on YouTube under the movies and TV category. I will have it linked below, the episode that I'm watching today, but it's called Born to Kill. There are 7 seasons and the description of the series is Born to Kill takes in-depth dives into the childhoods and lives of some of the world's most notorious murderers. I thought today we could watch episode 1, and this is about Fred West. The caption is, what motivated Fred West to commit such terrible crimes? Was he born evil or did his upbringing make him this way? It is 46 minutes. I'm very interested. Let's just hop right into it. Hey guys, I'm just hopping in here after finishing filming this video to let you know that this is a heavy one. There are a lot of pretty extreme topics and I sort of just want to give a warning, a trigger warning if you will, to everything. I am going to be bleeping out a couple of different words, and by a couple I mean a lot, because there are a lot of things spoken about that I don't think YouTube will be very happy with. So I am going to be censoring those words, but I will not be censoring the topics. So definitely if you are sensitive to topics of obviously murder, assault, sexual assault, and even topics such as rape, then this is not going to be the video for you. I have other videos on my channel that you could definitely go give a watch, but again, this is just a trigger warning overall. Putting this here now because I did not know it was going to get so heavy so quickly. Here you go. Enjoy the video.
Or was Fred West born to kill?
Okay. First of all, right off the bat, I don't personally know the story of Fred West, which I feel like is kind of crazy considering how much research and stuff I do on this kind of thing. There is a documentary that came out recently over on Netflix, but I have not watched it, so this is all going to be new information to me.
He was a chameleon. His neighbours would have told you that he was a very hard-working, likeable, friendly chap.
On the face of it was a...
Isn't that just so scary? As time goes on and time passes, we have become very understanding of the fact that these monsters don't look like monsters, and honestly a lot of the time don't act like monsters to your face. But I will never get over the fact that someone who looks normal and acts normal, friendly even, could do such inhumane things. I will never understand it. Oh wow.
Fred West's evil
Oh my
would be missed by
gosh.
very many people.
That's a crazy picture. Wait, I just want to go back. I mean, look at that.
Fred was a striking child with a shock of curly blonde hair
Oh my
and piercing blue
gosh.
eyes.
Look at him.
But how did this...
That's a beautiful kid. I always find it so strange to look at like pictures of kids like this and you have no idea what they are about to, well, not about to, but what they are going to go on to do and who they are going to go on to be. And they don't know it either. They don't know it. The people around them don't know it. That they are going to grow up to be something that people are going to wish didn't happen. Usually the neglect and abuse that they go through as children that turns them into what they become, and oh, it's awful.
It's widely believed that Fred's father, Walter, was a child abuser,
Right.
and he seemed unashamed and unrepentant about his behaviour.
Yeah, usually.
Fred was very much the apple of his mother's eye, and her love could be described as more than overprotective.
That checks out. You know, I really don't know what he goes on to do. From all the cases I've learned about and seen, this is normal. Even if they say that the mother loved her son, they're not saying that the father didn't. It's just usually it's a cycle, you know.
Apparently for years they'd been having sort of sexual games together, and the minute he was capable of doing anything more than that, she initiated him. He was also abused by his father. It was a family in which incest was... He was also abused the minute he was... Apparently for years they'd been having sort of sexual games together, and the minute he was capable of doing anything more than that, she initiated him. He was also abused by his father. It was a family in which incest was taken fairly much as normal.
There are no excuses. But how is he supposed to grow up and be normal? It makes sense that he would turn out to be messed up.
But his pride and joy was soon to become a nightmare. On the evening of November the 28th, 1958, whilst West was riding along this road, he collided with a girl riding in the opposite direction.
Oh no.
The precise details of the accident remain a mystery, but West suffered multiple injuries, including a serious head wound.
Yep. Again, that's another thing. Like, you're messed up from your childhood, and then you have this that, like, literally makes your brain unable to function the ways that it's supposed to.
Particular damage is the frontal cortex here.
The frontal cortex is what does a lot of decision making and processing of information. What helps you make decisions intelligently and from information that you were given. Damage to the frontal cortex, prefrontal cortex, it's really bad. But this really hinders your decision making and your ability to tell yourself, wait a second, this isn't right.
Anne McFall, Fred always maintained, was in his words, the love of his life. In fact,
But the angel was soon to fall when she became pregnant with West's child.
Oh!
she became effectively a problem to Fred.
I mean...
27 years later,
I don't
the
even know what
remains
to
of Anna
say.
McFall were discovered in this field on the outskirts of Fred's home village, Muchmarkle, in Herefordshire. The body had been decapitated and dismembered, and was found with the skeleton of her unborn child.
It is very personal to fully decapitate. It shows a level of a lack of restraint, a lack of remorse, and I was wondering if she was still with child and if she was far enough along that they could see the skeletal remains of the child. That's just, oh my gosh.
But from an early age, he would have been having sex with her and she would be accepting it.
Oh my. So we're on to the second character in this, which is Rose, who goes on to be Fred's wife. But they're gonna have a lot in common. You know, if they didn't go on to do what they did, I don't know her involvement, if I'm honest, but I'd be like, I'm happy you have each other. Because you can understand each other's pain, each other's childhood, each other's experiences. But I have a feeling this isn't gonna go well.
Rose ruled the West children with an iron rod.
Tragically, the child that suffered the most was 8-year-old Charmaine. Sometime in the June of 1971, while Fred West was coming to the end of a 9-month prison sentence for theft, Charmaine disappeared.
Disappeared?
Once Rose had killed Charmaine, then she is, of course, equally guilty. So she could not claim just to be an unwilling accomplice.
I do find it more shocking when a mother does this to their child than when a father does it to their child. The only reason I say that is because of the chemical reactions and imbalances and the hormones and all of the things that happen in your body scientifically when you are carrying a child for 9 months in your body. So I do find it a little bit more shocking that a mother would do this to their child.
One of these factors was Charmaine's real mother, Rena.
She came looking for her child, and that, I'm afraid, sealed her fate because she could not find... Charmaine was not there. Charmaine was dead. The only solution was to murder Rena.
Okay, so all of that gets taken away now because she didn't carry this. Charmaine, I think is what it is, but I don't want to pronounce it wrong. She didn't carry her.
My first instinct was to run away, but I didn't. And when they pulled up beside me, Rose was like apologizing. I'm sorry that you left and the children are really missing you. Can we give you a lift home? And as much as I didn't want to, I felt like I couldn't be nasty to them, so I got in the car.
Okay, don't do that. Don't do that. I was gonna say that, you know, she said her first instinct was to run, but she didn't. Fight, flight, or freeze, as I always say. I'm a freezer, so totally get it, but you don't have to be nice to them.
I was beaten. Both of them were like medical examining. It was almost, you know, they were talking about my genitalia and all that as if they were doctors. You know, oh, this is a bit strange, oh, that's so-and-so. I thought they were going to get a knife and just start cutting at me.
Oh my gosh.
And then she started doing something else sexual towards me while he watched, and then she invited him to join in. and she was doing something to me, and he was having sex with her from behind at the same time. To be quite honest, at that time I would have been happier off dead.
After a night of harrowing abuse, a terrified Caroline was eventually left alone with Fred.
I thought he was just going to take me down to the cellar, but he obviously had second thoughts. He just raped me, and then he started crying. He said to me, you know, if you promise that you won't tell her I've touched you, he said, and you'll come back here to live, he said, I'll let you go.
I didn't want to interrupt that. I just wanted to let that all play out. I'm sorry if that was like a really long clip, but I'm speechless. This is the first survivor, at least, that we've seen, and like, this is us able to hear some of the things that they would do, he would do, she would do, they would do together to the victims. And this might be the only opportunity we have to get that information. And like, can you just imagine like what they're doing to all these people if this is what we know? She's strong, she's so brave, and I can't believe she's able to speak about this. I just can't.
Caroline had a remarkable escape and went straight to the police.
Good.
The Wests pleaded guilty to the kidnap and sexual assault of Caroline, with their victim too scared to give evidence. Fred and Rose were never charged with rape.
Oh my gosh. I know it was a different time, so I'm not going to harp on this, but that is really frustrating. That's very frustrating. I feel like I'm talking so much, but I have so much to say. I have so many opinions. I apologize.
£25 each. They were allowed to go free.
I think the...
I'm sorry. £25. Only 25. Okay.
The events in the cellar, in the, as it were, the Chamber of Horrors, can be only really speculated on, but by bits and pieces that were left over, clearly a certain amount of sexual torture and abuse had progressed. These victims may have been stripped and hung and left for long periods of time in extreme pain.
Like they said, they have no idea what happened down there. The cellar represents the unknown. When she was going down, being brought down to the cellar, the victim from earlier, she said that she was being taken to the cellar, representing that she was about to lose her life. Nothing that happened to her happened in the cellar, which makes me feel like the cellar represents an extremity, like that was where it happened. So if that's where the bad stuff happened, then the only victim, at least so far, again, I don't know this case, but the victim that we know survived and her story has come out and has been told, none of that even happened in the cellar. How much worse can it get than what she went through?
Fred fitted a beam across and there were hooks on it. He talked about girls being hung there for days and bodies mummifying.
Imagine installing hooks into your ceiling for the intended purpose of hanging someone by it.
And then when he had filled the cellar with girls, he concreted over the floor and then turned the cellar into the bedroom for his children.
I don't think I even need to explain the metaphors, the symbolism behind that. The fact that you would keep your children in the same place you kept these women that you did all these horrible, awful, inhumane things to. I don't think I need to explain. I don't think I need to explain the problem with that.
They always wanted something more. They want to scream a little bit more. They want to cut a bit deeper. They know what causes more pain than something else.
Well, yeah, that's always how it is. It's like how people who are addicted to drugs need more and more to get their fix. It's the exact same thing.
Fred and Rose were now sinking to such depths of depravity that it was entirely possible that one of them could end up as the next victim.
Right.
I think there must have been an absolute element of competition between them that grew up in terms of the other person may kill me. Therefore, I am at risk, therefore I must show myself to be as tough, as sadistic, as hard, and as progressively homicidal as the other person.
That's actually a really interesting idea. That's a really interesting concept, that you would increase your intensity so that the other person could see how intense and scary you are, so that they know what you are capable of and you could be next. That's actually a really interesting insight.
Fred and Rose's eldest daughter, Heather, was 16. She'd suffered both physical and sexual abuse at the hands of her parents all her life. And now this teenage girl was becoming a problem.
She was murdered one day when the other children had gone to school. There's no evidence or belief that she was sexually abused. She was simply murdered and her body was got rid of in the classic Fred West way and buried under what subsequently became a patio.
Imagine being the siblings and going to school one day, coming home, and your sister's not there anymore.
They committed, as it were, a very risky murder, a murder that was done to show that they were in control to the rest of their children, and unfortunately that probably led to their undoing.
It was like a threat.
Heather lay undiscovered under the patio in the garden of Cromwell Street for 8 years.
Is this the patio? This, like, bricked area?
On the morning of the 24th of February 1994, a police search team knocked at the door of 25 Cromwell Street
Here we go.
and set in motion an investigation that would stun the world.
Here
The
we
murderous
go.
career of Fred West was about to come to an end.
Bye.
And I think there were 3 bodies in the backyard.
3.
And then was it 6 in the house?
6 in the house. Why is he smiling? Why is Fred smiling? That's Fred, right? Why is he smiling? Okay, so the 6 would be under the cement in the cellar, I'm assuming. 3 in the backyard, 6 in the house, and then 3 back out wherever on the outskirts of the village. That's 12.
6 months later, on New Year's Day 1995, whilst waiting to stand trial at Winston Green Prison in Birmingham, Fred West hanged himself.
That makes me so mad. You should have to rot in prison for the rest of your life. You shouldn't get the instant relief. It was on his terms. Like, that makes me mad. No matter what, it shouldn't be on your terms.
When they told me he killed himself, and they were saying, "Oh, that's justice, isn't it?" And I said, "No, it's not really." And I was
right.
absolutely gutted. I wanted him to pay the proper price.
Right.
And he just, like, took his own way out and had his own way about what happened to him.
Right, okay, that's what I said, and obviously I don't feel like I'm able to have an opinion necessarily, not an opinion that matters or means anything, obviously, because who am I? But her saying that means a lot. I think of all people, her opinion here matters the most.
And she was convicted of 10 murders and sentenced to life imprisonment.
It is easier for her to say that she wasn't complicit or that she was manipulated or whatever by Fred, simply because he is not here to rebuttal that and say, actually, that's not true. However, that statement is immediately canceled out by the fact that there is a survivor. There is a survivor who is here to tell her story and tell her experiences and share that you were heavily involved on your own free will. You did this on your own. There were things that you did and you thoroughly enjoyed, it seemed, at least from her perspective. Now, I don't know if she spoke at trial. I don't know if she was a witness or whatever, but those two things do contradict each other a little bit. But I'm glad that she was found guilty for all of them. That feels good that you are going to have to suffer and just sit there and rot. Sorry.
25 Cromwell Street was demolished in an attempt to erase the memory of West's atrocities. For Caroline Owens, forgetting her ordeal will not be so easy.
They've took it all down now and turned it into this walkway.
Isn't that always interesting? It's not for them to get rid of. it needs to go. But for them to say that it's to erase what he did, you can't erase that. And honestly, you shouldn't, because people lost their lives, and she has been affected forever. She has to live with this. She will never forget. She shouldn't have to. She should be able to experience these emotions and not have to feel like it's something that she just needs to get over, because it changed her. It would change anybody. You wouldn't be able to get over something like that. And for them to just turn it into like a walkway, like, no, at least put up a sign saying in loving memory of the victims, you know, like, you can't erase history.
So they decided to turn it into a walkway, and now I'm actually walking where the ice was, and some of the girls would have been buried under this area here.
Yeah, that's kind of gross.
Some in the patio over in that area. Brings back quite a few sad feelings, bad feelings for me. I don't like being here.
But was he really born to kill?
Given his basic biological background, at birth, this chap was not going to escape the genetics, the psychopathy, which probably affected his brother as well.
Right.
He was not going to escape the family environment, which was going to reaffirm these characteristics that were already in the parents.
He was destined to
You have to look
fail.
back and say, basically,
He's destined to fail.
that his crimes, to some degree, were inevitable. The degree and the frequent nature of the crimes may have been adjusted by aspects of his life, but indeed Fred was born with the characteristics that would make it reasonably easy for him to turn into a killer.
Wow, that was really interesting. I agree with what he said there at the end. I think that, I mean, I said it, I think, multiple times. I think it was bound to happen. That was this video. Definitely let me know what you think. Do you think Fred West was born to kill? Sorry that this video was very heavy. Still, I think that it was a really interesting insight, and I would love to learn more. If you know anything or know documentaries or anything, definitely recommend them to me below. Again, I will link this in the description. It is free with ads, so you can go give it a watch if you're interested. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you around. Bye.